Hello everyone, my name is Smithy and welcome to my guide on Bandos, that being General Graardor. If you're not familiar with what Bandos is, we're going to be using the alter door method, which is a really easy method once you get the hang of it. It is a bit of a pain in the backside to get it set and get running with it consistently, but once you do, it is really rewarding. I normally average about 14 kc a trip. That can go up to like 22 upwards. Depending on supply drops, because Bandos does drop super restores and the minions do drop food, and you can also recharge your prayer on the altar that is within the area that we go and fight in. Now, there is a requirement for the altar door method, and that is a bowfa. I've run altar door with Carol's armor and a bowfa before. It's not the best. It's certainly not the worst, but yeah. Ideally, you want full crystal and you want yourself a bowfa. And I've mentioned altar door. Don't worry, I'm going to be going through a few KCs on how to, first of all, set the room and then continue after you've killed Bandos once. It's called altar door because essentially you're running in a straight line, and when you're running one way, you're clicking on an altar, and when you're running the other way, you're clicking on a door. It's as simple as that. There's nothing fancy to it. You're essentially using those two red clicks or red X's to stall Bandos' attack mechanics. So you're only going to be praying range after you've done the first KC, which I'll go through when we go through a kill clip. Now, first things first, to get into Bandos, you need to get yourself your KCs. So I like to come over in God Wars Dungeon to this area here, where you've got a bunch of goblins that spawn. You've got is it an ogre? I think it is. Yep, an ogre, and then you've got some hobgoblins who knock around this area here that you can kind of pick off while you're waiting for goblins to spawn. Because I've got the hard tier of the combat achievements done, I only need to get 35. I think normally it's 40. So depending on what level you're on the combat achievements is how many KCs that you'll need. Now, let's quickly go through our gear setup. So, like I said, I've got full crystal. I've then got the assembler. I've got necklace of anguish. You are going to need a Bandos piece and a Zami piece here. I recommend the Zamarok boots, the D'hide boots, and the War Blessing. You could use, for example, the Van Braces instead of the Barrows gloves, and you could use, say, a Zami Blessing and Bandos boots for this. Bandos being the D'hide boots. I guess you could wear Bandos normal boots, but I wouldn't recommend it. And then I've got a Ring of Suffering, just for a little bit more tank and a little bit more damage back if I do get hit. Or you could use, Seer's Ring, that sort of stuff. Now for our inventory. I've seen a bunch of guides on altar door, and they all go through the actual mechanics very well. However, I've found a couple of things that I find extend my trip a little bit and just make things a little bit easier. So I've got my Ancient Scepter. You could bring an Ancient Staff, and my Arim's Robe Top. This is because in between kills, when Bandos goes down, you then got the minions to deal with. I like to use those to heal myself on, so I use blood spells on the Ranger and the Meleeer, to heal myself up. I've then got my blowpipe, which I use the spec on for taking out the major. A little bit quicker to kill it because you're taking damage from two out of the three because we'll be playing range during that. And you can use the spec to roll your RNG on if you get some health back. I've then got Bones to Peaches tabs, which I've not seen in any other guides. They all drop bones if you are running low on food or you just want to fill up because you've got some empty slots in your inventory and you want a bit more food. Pick up some bones, crack one of the tabs. There you go. You've got some extra food. Now I've got tick food with sharks and cram ones, and I've just got some extra sharks down here as well. I've got 6 super restores. Now Bandos does drop 3 super restores at a time sometimes. Then I've got 1 range impot, 2 staminas, and staminas are kind of important because you are going to be running a lot, and if you want to keep a consistent trip, you're going to want to keep yourself topped up on stam. I bring a hammer. You can pick one of these up when you are getting your KCs, but I like to bring one with me just so I've got it, and if needed, can always drop it if I need to pick up a extra drop from Bandos. I've then got my Gommel's Hilt, which is how I get here. I teleport to Trollheim. You could also use the Trollheim teleport instead if you don't have that. Then I've got some house teleports and then my rune pouch with blood spells in. All right, so now we've got our KC. For me, I only need 35. We're now going to run over to the big door over here, which is just Never Eat Shredded Wheat, west of the God Wars, or northwest, I guess, of the God Wars dungeon. And we're going to enter in. So running on through, you are going to still need your Zammy piece on here because there are some Zammy monsters, and obviously your Bandos piece because there's Bandos monsters as well. And we're going to come up to the door. If you are an Iron Man like myself, you want to look out for this little torch here. If that is on fire, it means that the Iron Man instance is full, so you can't go in there. But to talk about the tiles, now the yellow ones on here, do not worry about those. You don't need to worry about them. I would recommend tagging Bandos as well. And then we've got these green and red tiles that we're going to be running against. So when we come in, I'm going to be praying melee and also rigor. You could pray eagle eye as well if you don't have rigor. Don't worry about that. You've not been got yourself a dex from chambers. So we're going to run in, we're going to hit Bandos once, we're going to run to this shoot altar, this little red tile here, get here, and then when Bandos is come over to us, we're going to run over, we're going to click the altar and start running over. Now, when our true tile hovers over this A tile here, we're going to hit Bandos again, and I like to have the in-game sounds on. I like to listen for the attack of the bowfa and also the XP drop, because when I see and hear that, I click again and we move on to the next tile. Now, you can see there's ones here that are labelled A and there's ones that are labelled D. When we're running towards the altar, we're going to be attacking on the A tiles. Then we get to the end, attack. And then when we're clicking on the door and running towards, we're going to attack on the D tiles. When we land on this tile, we're then going to be clicking on this tile to move ourselves towards this D, and then onto the final tile. And then you just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That one might not make sense now, but we're going to go for a couple of kills. I'm going to show you all about it. It's all good. So just a quick one, some plugins that you're going to want on to get your true tile is tile indicators, and you want to have this current tile turned on. Now this will show your exact tile that you're actually on within the game, not necessarily where your character model is. So we're going to be using that when the grey hovers over each of these tiles is when we know we can then click to attack. So I'll go through it through the kill, but I just thought it was important to include that here. All right, so we're now ready to go into Bandos. So we want to check that we've got our sound effects on. We're going to sip our ranging pot. We're going to sip our stamina. Pray melee, play rigor, and now we're going to enter the room. So as we enter, we're going to click Bandos, see the XP drop, and move to the shoot altar tile. We're going to click the altar. When the tile grays over the A, we click on Bandos. And we're going to click the door, and as we hover over the green D tile there, we're then going to be clicking on this N tile. So we're listening out for that attack sound. We're listening out, or we're looking out for that XP drop. As we see it, we're moving on to the next tile. Best way to think of it on these end tiles is kind of like you're bouncing. So we're clicking on the altar, we're bouncing past. It's a bit like you're on a big slingshot that has, you know, on both sides. So Bandos goes down, and we're now going to start taking out the minions. I like to heal up with my blowpipe on the major. So dump your couple of specs on that, and then take it out. I'm actually going to switch to protect from range here as well. So the major goes down. We're now going to get in between the ranger and the meleeer. You can see that they've synced up. Oh, my helps if I'm actually casting. You can see that they're synced up. Now, when I see the attacks, well, so we want to start on a protect melee. When I see the attack style from the melee, or the attack from the melee go, I'm switching my prayers. So melee attacks, switch to range. Melee attacks, switch to range, and so forth until they're dead, pretty much. And they won't always die at the same time, so it makes life a little bit easier when this happens. You just finish off on the ranger. But the fact that I'm now full health, we haven't got to worry about switching and all that rubbish. Let's take out ranger. Cool. And now what I like to do on the first kill of the trip is recharge my prayer on the altar, like so. And we run down to this shoot altar tile to get set up for the next kill. Now, we've still got 15 seconds, 14 seconds, 13 seconds, 12 seconds on the timer. I'm not going to sacrifice any of my resources for a little bit of cash on the floor. So when it gets to about 3 seconds is normally when I switch on my prayer. There we go. Bandos going to spawn around here. Click Bandos. We hear the attack. And we're clicking on that altar. Like I said, when you see the tile grey that you're running towards is when you want to click on Bandos. You hear that attack style, we're clicking on to our next spot. There's a little bit of a tick delay on that one, that's why we got punched. We're slingshotting past Bandos. That detail's been greyed. And there we go. Now, say you've cocked it up. You've made a mistake, you're out of sync. The best place to eat is on these end ones, and you probably want to switch to protect from melee when you do eat. And then you kind of trying to get yourself set back in to the motions. You might need to tank a hit, but that is okay. Because for the most part, Bandos isn't really going to attack you unless you've messed something up. Sometimes he does decide to slam the ground because he's a little bit angry that we're absolutely murking him. But yeah, there we go. Snapdragon Seed. We've got our resources back from the super stores. I'm going to do 1 or 2 more kills to show you a little bit more, different examples and that. And just remember to switch back to protect from range when you are taking out the minions. I'm taking quite a bit of damage. And there we go. All right, so melee attacks, ranger attacks. As they attack, you want to be switching between your prayers, pretty much. We are running low on prayers. Let's quickly switch. So as you see, the attack switch between, because you don't really want to be taking damage from the minions. It's wasted damage. It's wasted resources. Because, yeah, they're really there for you to heal up, pretty much. At least that's how I see them. And they just do a little bit of tick damage while you're actually fighting Bandos. But they can hit you like a bloody truck if they all stack up at the same time when you're doing the first pass. Especially when you've got a ranger and a major attacking you because you're praying melee. Now, there is a way that you can set it properly when you first come in, so you haven't got to worry about that. But, yeah, that's far too complex for me. We're all about casual stuff here. I'm going to get my prayer right back up. I'm going to sip my stamina because we're running a bit low. Turn on our prayers. Bandos is going to spawn. Click. See the XP drop. And then we're away again. So when the A tile greys, we want to click Bandos. And as soon as we hear that attack, we're moving on. You don't want to be hanging about on these tiles because that is how you take Bandos out of sync. And he starts using those big old powerful fists to clump you for a 60. So we hear the attack, we're moving. We see the tile grade, we're clicking Bandos. Hearing the attack, we're moving. Tiles grade. And there we go, Bandos is dead again. See, they're really quick kills as well. I mean, I guess the annoying prerequisite of this method is that you need a bowfa and you pretty much need full crystal, which if you're an Iron Man like myself and you don't get spooned, which I did, thankfully, yeah, it's a bit of a steep thing you need. But if you are a normal account, you can buy these things. It is a bit expensive, but you can make some serious money at Bandos. So I think I'll do 1 more kill just to show you. Yeah, if you do need to eat while you're running, like I said, you eat at the end of the rows of the line, and you want to pray melee on the next attack. He's either going to clump you or you're going to be all good. Now the perks of having Bones to Peaches, we can just scran some peaches. Get our 5 a day in. There you go. Boom, boom, boom. Get ourselves set back up. I'm not going to sit my prayer on that one. Pass go by picking up your money. And at this point, when you've got like 20 seconds on the clock, just assess, all right, how am I doing on my ranging? Am I still topped up? Yes, I am. How's my run energy looking? Because you do not want that to drop while you're running, because if you're walking, you're getting boxed. yeah, check your prayer, everything like that. Now, when we get to 3 seconds, get that prayer on. Bandos is going to spawn. We're clicking him. We're seeing the XP drop. We're moving. Tile gets grayed. We're clicking Bandos. We're hearing the attack. We're moving on. Tiles grayed. Click Bandos. Tiles grayed. Click Bandos. And when he's about to like pass this A tile is when you really want to be clicking him on that side. And there we go. Now, I might have explained this horribly, so if you do have any questions, please, by all means, put them in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them. I'll also include in the description as well a guide that's a bit better on explaining the mechanics of Altador, but it doesn't really go into the in-depth stuff of, you know, bonus stuff that I've included, which is why I wanted to make my own guide as well. But also shout out to, I can't remember the person's name who made the guide, but it's really good. It's how I learnt it. But things like bringing a bit of a range switch to get your mage stats up so your actual blood spells hit. Well, I didn't see in there the bit about bones to peaches and bringing your blowpipe as well. There is a way that you can kind of spec your blowpipe while you're running, but that gets a little bit risky. So I don't bother with that. I just wait until the end. And if I really need to, like I showed, you can eat while you're running the line. You just got to be mindful that you might get boxed, so adjust your prayers accordingly. Cool. Right, let's do one more. And yeah, then I'll love you and leave you. Right, let's pick up these stams. We've got 30 seconds, so I'll see you when Bandos is spawning. All right, let's top up our range. Protect range, turn on rigger, and Bandos is going to spawn. Click Bandos, we see our XP drop. The A grays over. A grays over, so we click Bandos. We hear the attack, we move. D's grade, we click Bandos. D's grade, we click Bandos. Hear our attack, we see the XP. That was a little bit of a tick late, so he did get hit there. But it's A-okay. We're at the end now. Let's spray melee just in case. He's not done that. Cheers, Bandos. Love you for that, mate. Love that. And now, you see I've cocked that up. What you can do is run the line like this, like adjacent. That works as well, but just make sure when you get to the end, you adjust. You don't want to get yourself screwed over. But anyway, that is going to be the end of my guide. It might have been a little bit chaotic. Like I said, any questions, I'd love to hear them in the comment section down below. With my channel, I try and make these sort of methods, and I try and make high-level PVM more accessible, because I'm not the best gamer at this game. A lot of this stuff I do really scuffed, but I make it work, and I like sharing that sort of thing with you guys who are out there looking for the information. Yeah, so if there's anything as well you'd like to see me make a guide on, by all means, I love suggestions, so let me know down in the comment section. If you are new around here, please do consider subscribing, drop a like, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!